Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another crypto news and discussion video. If you're subscribed to my channel, you know I do these every single day, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, then what are you doing with your life? Let's jump straight into it because we have a lot to talk about today, and let's start by refreshing CoinMarketCap real quick here. A lot of movement in the last 24 hours. If you remember yesterday, the crypto market cap in total was just about scratching 210 billion. Today we see it at almost 213 billion, right now 212.89 billion to be exact. This was mostly on the back of altcoins doing really well, with Bitcoin dominance falling to 52.5% from 53% yesterday. If we're going down here and looking at some of the major performers, we see the big winner of the day among the top 10 is xRapid. If you've watched my video from yesterday, you know one of the reasons this is likely happening. A new exchange went live yesterday that uses xRapid as its base currency, and that seems to be the core reason to see 5% growth here, all the way to almost 50 cents again. And it is getting closer and closer to Ethereum again, now less than $2 billion in market cap apart. For a while they had been $3 to $4 billion apart again, but if this continues for a while, who knows, they might battle it out for number 2 again in the near future. But as we see here, almost everyone is doing very well. We see Bitcoin Cash is one of the few tokens that are down today, but even that, down 2.9%, you have to keep in mind here it jumped from $425 to over $550 in 3 days. Seeing a bit of a pullback there was to be expected. Aside from that, nothing all that extraordinary going on here. If we go down, we see basic attention tokens still doing good. We talked about it a lot in the last couple days. But mostly we see movement up a tiny bit, with a few tokens significantly outperforming others. Let's go into my articles for today, shall we? Of course, they are all linked in the description. I might not read them out all fully for all of them, but if you want to do it yourself, you can just check the description. And we'll start with some market analysis. Ethereum World News here putting forward the thesis that Coinbase might ignite the next crypto bull run, rather than what a lot of people were anticipating, that either backed or ETF approvals might launch it. And this, I'm not sure how far I buy this thesis, so let's read it together, shall we? Any observant crypto enthusiast and or trader has noted that the cryptocurrency exchange of Coinbase has lately been the root of a lot of excitement in the crypto markets. Whenever the exchange announces the listing of a coin or token, we see tremendous excitement as traders rush to trade the digital asset. 0x was listed on Coinbase Pro around the 11th of October, and by the 16th it was available on the regular Coinbase platform and all the corresponding mobile applications. Before the listing, it was trading at 66 cents. When it was finally available on all platforms related to Coinbase, it had peaked at 107, a percentage increase of 62% in less than a week. A similar pattern was observed when BAT was listed on Coinbase Pro on the 2nd of November. The digital asset did an amazing 33% in gains within minutes of Coinbase Pro making the announcement at 1 PM Pacific Standard Time. Savvy crypto traders are now awaiting the second wave up for BAT when it is listed on the regular Coinbase platform and all the mobile apps. This is similar to what was witnessed with 0x a few weeks back. Coinbase was once again the force behind Bitcoin Cash exhibiting impressive gains on Sunday the 4th. The American trading platform announced that it was going to support the upcoming Bitcoin Cash hard fork on the 15th of November. Rather, they were announcing which side of the hard fork discussion they were placing themselves on. By now, we have connected the dots as to why the term Coinbase effect is very popular. The latter term has been used on numerous occasions to describe the effects the trading platform has on any digital asset. We have seen it with BAT, 0x and Bitcoin Cash. We are also slowly seeing it with Stellar, Cardano and Zcash in the crypto markets. The last 3 digital assets are scheduled for listing on the platform in the near future. We also have news that the exchange plans on listing hundreds of digital assets with time. This list of hundreds has been speculated to also include xRP and Tron. Therefore, we can form the following theories about the exchange. Coinbase excites individual traders far more than ETFs and backed. The individual traders are actually the ones trading and affecting the price of the digital assets as reported by the exchanges and CoinMarketCap. Backed and other institutional investors are probably buying over the counter and away from exchanges, thus their effect on the price is not felt. Coinbase has 3 pending digital assets to list as we head into the holiday season. Stellar, ADA, and Zcash might become the MVPs of the fourth quarter of 2018 as they reignite interest on crypto trading as families meet during Thanksgiving or Christmas. A similar event was witnessed in quarter 4 of 2017. And the last one, crypto traders hold the key to determining the price of digital assets more than they are aware of. They can single-handedly make this industry great as envisioned by Satoshi. Institutional investors are not all that important, they are simply repackaging the digital asset and adhering to an old way of thinking. Now, my biggest problem with this is the third statement, because this just strikes me as utterly delusional. I'm sorry. This might be a bit harsh, but I know a lot of people within the crypto world, within the crypto sphere, want to think that crypto being decentralized is very much something for the average person away from institutional investment, from traditional finance. But the cold hard truth is that traditional finance, institutional investors simply have so much more money, so much better connections, so many more assets that they can disproportionately affect any market. The reason we are not seeing these effects play out in the price is because those numbers don't typically get reported. That doesn't mean that they're not important in the markets. That just means because we don't see all their movements instantly, they don't have as much of a direct impact on prices. That is very, 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 very different, because the people building the long-term infrastructure, supporting new projects, supporting development, those are the institutional investors. The people building a future for crypto, whether we like it or not, are institutional investors, are traditional finance. They are now part of the crypto world, and as much as a lot of us don't want them in there, there's no way to get around the fact that they are in there now, that they are controlling a significant part of the money in the crypto world, that they are pretty much providing most of the funding behind new developments, behind new infrastructure, behind all the lobbying that is going on. That is all institutional investors. So to claim that they're not all that important, that is very, very short-sighted and strikes me as wishful thinking. But aside from that, let's get to the core message of this article, being that Coinbase has an absolutely disproportionate effect on price movement and that it might launch the next crypto bull market. Now, first things first, it is absolutely true that Coinbase listings have had an absolutely insane effect on the listed coins. And that is likely going to continue for a while, but you have to keep in mind here that this is an effect that will diminish over time as more tokens are on the platform. Right now, Coinbase very much has the image of a kingmaker, has the image of a special place. Being on Coinbase means something. Once there are dozens and dozens of tokens on there, it will stop having that prestige. And once they start listing coins at an accelerated pace, that will also mean that that just getting listed on there won't have anywhere near the same impact on prices anymore. I think we already see some of that with them still having a very, very, very strong effect, but not quite the same as they would have had a couple months ago if they had listed coins then, because by now we know that they're planning to list so many more. Being listed on Coinbase will always have a positive effect on prices because it is just giving access to a token to so many more people. But once there's 150 or 200 tokens on Coinbase, the addition of any one other token won't be felt nearly as much anymore. Additionally, Coinbase listings have had massive impacts on the prices of individual tokens, but the effect they have had on general market movement has been, well, you can pretty much ignore that. There's not that much movement. Sometimes the listed coins drag other coins along with them a bit, but what we usually see is whatever gets listed on there makes crazy gains for a couple days and usually manages to retain them for a while, at least partially. But it doesn't drag the entire market along. When we see Bitcoin Cash dragged up because Coinbase is going to support one version of the hard fork, what we didn't see is the entire rest of the market being dragged along in the same manner. It did correlate in some ways with the market uptick, but not anywhere to the same degree that Bitcoin Cash has seen. And the same is happening for all other coins. Coinbase listings are an incredible boost to the coin being listed and a really, really minor boost to the markets as a whole. So I'm unsure if Coinbase is able to launch the entire markets. I think this power will diminish over time as they're adding so many more tokens, but for any individual token, it is absolutely golden news to be put on Coinbase. you can pretty much expect the price of your token to double if it makes its way onto Coinbase, which is why a lot of people are hoping for their favorite tokens. First and foremost, what a lot of people are hoping for is xRapid to be listed on Coinbase. Now, let's move on from analysis. This was all the analysis we're doing today, onto some news. And China, once again, being very strict on crypto. China's central bank extends its regulatory scrutiny to crypto airdrops. China's central bank, the People's Bank of China, has widened its scrutiny to include token airdrops, which it characterized as disguised ICOs in its 2018 Financial Stability Report. Using by now familiar rhetoric, the report reiterates the bank's stringently anti-ICO and crypto trading stance, defining the former as illegal fundraising and pointing to the widespread risks of financial fraud and pyramid schemes. Signaling a new area of focus, the report warns that so-called airdrops are evading regulation around the public token sale model by issuing free assets to investors. According to the report, airdrops earmark a token reserve and then capitalizing on speculation in the market to inflate the asset's value and drive their own profits. The bank warns that such initiatives continue to rise in number despite vigorous attempts to crack down on crypto token issuance in the country, and calls for early detection and redoubled vigilance on the part of regulators, alluding to the need for international cooperation to better protect investors. Now, this is the core message we need to take away from this article. The rest you can read if you feel so inclined. But the takeaway from here is that, once again, China is, in my opinion, being a bit too strict. They're identifying a real problem here. That real problem is the potential for abuse in the ICO and airdrop system. And that is a very real issue. I talked about it on this channel a bunch when other countries place their regulation. But I think the completely wrong stance to take is that because the system can be abused, the system as a whole is fraudulent and needs to be illegal. Now, for China, there are added reasons why they're doing it. One of the reasons is certainly to protect people from being defrauded. But when you're talking about China, you always need to keep in mind that it is an extremely authoritarian country, becoming more authoritarian by the day, pretty much building the most complex surveillance state we have ever seen. And one part of that is controlling how people can deal with money, and especially anything that might allow people to deal in international trade more easily, more freely, outside of the scope of the Chinese government, is something that is being cracked down on. And anything to do with crypto that isn't a Chinese production, a Chinese blockchain, something that the government can control, is that. So that's what we see here. I'm a bit worried that they might be going way too strict here, but you won't be able to change China's mind on this kind of stuff. Now, Bancor, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when it was first in the news, that they would be doing interoperability between Ethereum and EOS, cross-blockchain trading. Now it is going live. Decentralized liquidity network Bancor announced it had completed its partnership with EOS to provide cross-blockchain token swaps in a press release shared with Cointelegraph. Originally announced in September, Bancor has now expanded to the EOS blockchain using its decentralized application Bancor X to allow users to convert between Ethereum and EOS-based tokens without exchanges. The move is the first of its kind, Bancor says in its press release, and paves the way for vastly more blockchains to be included in such cross-blockchain trading. The ability to easily convert assets cross-chain points to a future in which token projects and users are empowered to seamlessly interact with any blockchain which best suits their needs. Bancor co-founder and head of business development Galia Benazzi, I probably mispronounced that, I'm so sorry, commented in the announcement. Bancor X currently supports a raft of Ethereum ERC20 tokens and uses its own BNT token to make the cross-blockchain transfers. The company also reports that their cross-blockchain dApp was built in partnership with Liquid EOS, Bancor's EOS blockchain producer, the equivalent of a miner in the Bitcoin network. In the same announcement today, Bancor announced its B Protocol Foundation would transfer $10 million in value to the EOS blockchain, using the tool to encourage EOS development and token liquidity, in addition to serving as a symbol of faith in the security and promise of the EOS blockchain. BNT itself had reacted only marginally to the news at press time, having faced a troubled year after Bancor became one of the worst performing initial coin offering projects to launch in 2017. Now, in my opinion, this is very exciting. I always like to see this cross-blockchain interoperability. I always like to see different projects converge in this way, work together. This all gives more freedom to investors, to people working on these blockchains. Now, with Bancor, you have the added benefit of the token being directly used for these transfers. This is comparable to the XRP token being used for international monetary transfers, where something is sold into XRP in one country, that XRP is then transferred to another and then is being sold into the local currency. You can imagine this pretty much going the same way. If you have an ERC20 token and you want to transfer it into an EOS token, what happens is that ERC20 token is being exchanged into the Bancor token and then the Bancor token into the EOS token. So you see that every exchange here is using that token. So the more Bancor is used, that also means that their token is being used significantly more and is gaining a lot in volume, which should long term be very good for the price. And some stablecoin news. Outside of Tether, we don't really talk about stablecoins much on this channel, and we only really talk about Tether because it ran into so many issues lately, and it's so unclear if they're backed by US dollars, if everything is going the way it's supposed to. So now we see a lot of crypto exchanges flooding towards other stablecoins, trying to get other stablecoins integrated. We see the markets slowly but surely move away from Tether because so many people don't trust it anymore. And whenever we see news like this, I see it as part of that general movement. USD coin has been in the spotlight of late, and the reasons should not be far-fetched for anyone who has been following proceedings in the crypto ecosystem. In less than a month, the company rose in value and notched the 58th position of top cryptocurrencies, according to CoinMarketCap. More overwhelming is the circulating supply of the coin, which surpassed 125 million within a 24-hour trading volume of about $2 million US. No less than 12 exchanges, according to an official blog post from Circle, have expressed their plans of joining the ecosystem for the incorporation of the US dollar coin. The exchanges are Bitmart, Fcoin, Gatecoin, HamBitcoin, Hotbit, Swift, OCP Capital, DDEX, and BitZ. The world's first instant crypto-backed loan provider Nexo also disclosed the ongoing process of adding the stablecoin. Users of Shenzhen, I probably mispronounced that, based cryptocurrency startup Bitcan and wallet provider Tokenary can as well store and use the token to carry out various services. The last 2 weeks recorded a surge in the number of companies granting reception to USDC since the token was issued. About 50 companies are coming on board, and the motivation stems from the collaboration between Circle and Coinbase, which led to the establishment of Center Consortium. And that is pretty much the main thing we need to know here. We're seeing a significant increase in the adoption of alternative stablecoins to Tether. Now Tether is very much the market leader in the stablecoin market and will likely remain it for a while, but slowly but surely we're seeing that exchanges are scrambling to add other stablecoins. Some of them are going completely without Tether, only using alternative stablecoins, but this should give you a general idea of where the market is going. Tether has still not managed to establish proper parity with the US dollar again. It has now been, I believe, 3 weeks since it lost parity. It briefly manages to sometimes get close to or hit $1, but people then instantly start selling off huge amounts of Tether, crashing the price back down. This, of course, understandable. A lot of people who have lost faith in Tether have moved their Tether tokens to exchanges, just waiting for it to reach $1 again so they can sell off and buy either other cryptocurrencies or other stablecoins instead. Now continuing on. Dash. We don't talk about Dash a lot, but today it is actually in the news. A new Dash tax payment service eases cross-border remittances in Venezuela. Now Venezuela, of course, most heavily hit country in the world right now by hyperinflation. So cryptocurrency is very, very, very capable there of enacting real change, of really helping people. Earlier on in September, the team at Dash launched Dash Text, a Venezuela-based company providing SMS-based transactions using the digital asset. Back then it was in beta testing and users could easily exit it using a 5-digit shortcode on Movistar, one of Venezuela's largest telecom companies. The team at Dash launched the service in order to combat hyperinflation and the breakdown of local payment processing services. Since cryptocurrencies are legal in Venezuela, Dash fully launched the service at an opportune time just yesterday, November 5th. Which is actually still today here, rather than spending hours at local ATMs to withdraw cash, Dash provides a perfect alternative for Venezuelans seeking liquidity and instant payment services. I don't know how much you guys have been paying attention to the situation in Venezuela, but you might not be able to imagine just how tough the financial situation there is right now if you have never lived in a country undergoing hyperinflation or don't know anyone who lived in a country undergoing hyperinflation. On the worst days that they have faced, their currency has lost incredible amounts of value. Pretty much all their savings are worthless. Anything that isn't some kind of asset that retains its value and that can be traded internationally. If you were holding your money in their local currency, it is now completely worthless. And added with that came the issue that there was simply no liquidity. If you went to a bank to take out money, there was a very good chance that they just didn't have any money for you. A lot of people just couldn't move their money. A lot of accounts were frozen, a lot of ATMs were completely empty, you just couldn't withdraw cash anywhere. You couldn't get the little money that you still had. And cryptocurrencies, of course, are a decentralized alternative to that is not linked to any local currency or to the local infrastructure. And so we see a lot of movement from cryptocurrency firms, from crypto technologies into Venezuela and countries facing similar problems. And it is big, both just because it's a big opportunity for growth for those cryptocurrencies and because they can really help people there. Like the difference between having your money in a cryptocurrency like Dash, which might not be very stable in value, but is significantly more stable than the local currency, and at least isn't falling in value by crazy amounts every single day. That makes a huge difference. That can save people from being thrown into not necessarily lifelong poverty, but that can save people from being thrown into real, huge, long-term issues. Cross-border payments to Venezuela and other Latin American countries have been known to traditionally take days. With Dash and with an 80% mobile phone penetration rate in the country, residents with family members working in neighboring countries can send funds home quicker using Dash Text. Bradley Zestro, Global Head of Business Development at Bancor, explained this further as follows. Venezuelans living abroad send an estimated $2 billion back home in remittances. This process often takes too long and costs too much, and making it a huge pain point for many users. With Dash Text, we're providing real solutions that address real problems. People need easy and cheap ways to send money home, and we've done it in a way that expands the Dash ecosystem to those without smartphones. Dash Text offers the perfect solution to ensure that everybody can become part of the Dash family, regardless of what phone people own. And this is another one of those things. If you're living in a developed country, you might be confused to hear that in a lot of places around the world, smartphones are a rarity. Smartphones are still, any smartphone, not even just the latest and most expensive ones, are still very much status symbols in a lot of countries around the world. Venezuela is one of them, where most people have a mobile phone, but most of those are not smartphones. So if you develop an app that can be used to transfer money, that doesn't really help. You need to be able to do it with any phone, even ones that can't run apps. So doing it with traditional phones, with traditional mobile phones that can just text, allowing that capacity is a very important thing to address, and it's easily ignored if you're kind of looking at the world from your privileged position in a developed nation where you don't even consider that people might not have smartphones. And this is very, very promising for Dash as a token and also doing some real good in the world, and I always like to see that. I think cryptocurrency has a massive capacity to connect the world in a way it hasn't been connected before, to in a way equalize the world a bit more, give people that previously didn't have opportunities, more access, and Dash is doing their part here, and I think that's quite beautiful. I think that's wonderful. And last up, Ripple expands XRP-powered xRapid boosts payment platform backed by MIT and MasterCard. Important to keep in mind here, they are not working with MIT and MasterCard as some websites have misreported. Instead, they are working with a platform that is backed by MIT and MasterCard. Important distinction here that some websites and some people on Twitter and stuff are not making. A consumer payments platform backed by MIT Media Lab, MasterCard and Ripple is integrating Ripple's XRP-powered xRapid to lower the cost and increase efficiency of cross-border payments. SendFriend is set to launch this year and is targeting the Philippines to give expatriates a cost-effective way to send money back home. The project, winner of the MIT Media Lab Translation and Innovation Alliance Award, Alliance, not Alliance, was developed at MIT by CEO and founder David Lighten. According to American Banker, Lighten says xRapid offers a new level of efficiency. And now let's go to the actual American Banker article. Because I looked around a bit, I looked on their website, I looked on their official Twitter page, and neither has any mention of Ripple or xRapid, but this article from AmericanBanker.com, which I'd consider a legitimate source, does have the information in it. I was a bit surprised that they're not advertising it anymore. Like on the website, I couldn't find any mention of Ripple or xRapid. I could find mentions of the other companies that are backing them now. And on their Twitter feed, which is relatively new, they've made 20 odd tweets. There was no mention of Ripple or XRP or any person associated with that I could find, and they are also not following anyone associated with Ripple or xRapid. But this still looks legit to me because it is on American Banker here, and this is part of a larger article. PFM AI and more startups compete for Barclays funding from October 21st, so this was pretty much ignored by most of us for 2 weeks. Because they're not there was no official statement to my knowledge from Ripple or from this from this company. There's nothing on their website, there's nothing on their Twitter, so it kind of flew below the radar. But this is pretty big. This is pretty big in my opinion. So let's read this part on American Banker as well. Sending money home using a distributed ledger, SendFriend. The SendFriend app is designed to let expatriates send money home to their friends and families. The company will soon let people who live in New Jersey transfer money to the Philippines through its app. It's going through the process of getting a money transmitter license in each state. The average fees charged by companies like Western Union is 7%, according to David Anderson, Chief Revenue Officer. SendFriend's fees will vary from 2.5 to 3%, he said. CEO David Lighten used to work at World Bank, where he saw how hard it was to get money to countries in emergencies. He originally founded SendFriend at MIT. Zoom, Remitly, WorldRemit and others offer versions on this theme. SendFriend is the only one based on a distributed ledger, however. Specifically, it uses Ripple's xRapid system and distributed ledger technology. And here your ears should perk up if you're a Ripple supporter, because this means they are using the XRP token for every transfer. That allows us on the back end to be more efficient with our capital, Anderson said. These are real-time settlements, so we don't have to do pre-funding, we don't have to park money in the receiving corridor and then manage the foreign exchange risk. We can just do it one by one as the transactions go through. Now, right now, this is very limited. Only people in New Jersey can send money to the Philippines, and I assume in the other direction as well. Keep in mind, this is going to expand significantly once they get licenses in all of these other states. It appears they have already applied for them in every state and are just waiting to get them now. This is just one more application for xRapid, for the XRP token, and we're seeing a lot of this, and then it's all coming together. This is a lot of individual monetary channels and applications that might not look like that much, that might initially not be moving that much money, but this is slowly but surely building an infrastructure that connects in a lot of ways. It is usually a connection between a developed and a developing nation, which is where a lot of money is flowing. A lot of people, especially a lot of migrants who work in one country, are sending money back to their relatives in another country every month. All that can be done with XRP instead of paying the exorbitant fees that companies like Western Union are charging. Slowly but surely we will see more and more payment corridors like this being established with more and more companies, more and more banks, and it's always very, very exciting for me to see this. As someone who sees a lot of potential in XRP and in Ripple as a company and their technologies, this is very, 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 very nice to see, and They didn't even feel the need to really tell us about it. That's the craziest part. Maybe I just missed it, but I don't remember any official statement from Ripple about this, and this seems to be kind of the only statement from this company as well about it, since they don't even mention it on their website. But American Banker is a legitimate source here, so this very, very exciting. The latest in a long line of partnerships for XRP, for Ripple, for the xRapid protocol, and very, very, very exciting for the token. And with that, I'm gonna end today's video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos, if you want to get daily crypto news and discussion videos to your subscription box, make sure to subscribe. If you really want to make sure you never miss them, there's a little bell icon next to my name under the video that you can click. Then you will get notifications about every new video I upload. If you really, really, really like the channel, there are ways to support me in the description. Most importantly, a Patreon page where you can give a small amount every month, like $1 or $3, get some perks with it, support me if you like my stuff. That is super appreciated. Also, you will find all the links to these articles as well as my social media pages and an email address where you can ask questions for a potential future question and answer video in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back with you guys tomorrow.